In the early morning darkness of July 16, 1945, humanity stood at the threshold of a new and terrifying age. In the remote Jornada del Muerto desert of New Mexico, scientists prepared to test the world's first atomic bomb. The Manhattan Project, America's secret wartime program, had cost $2 billion and employed over 130,000 people. Now, everything hinged on this single test, codenamed Trinity. The bomb, nicknamed the Gadget, sat atop a 100-foot steel tower. It contained a plutonium core about the size of a softball, but held the explosive power of 20,000 tons of TNT. Scientists like Robert Oppenheimer and Enrico Fermi watched from bunkers 6 miles away. Some placed bets on whether the bomb would ignite the atmosphere itself. The tension was unbearable. At 5:29 a.m., the countdown reached 0. In an instant, the desert was transformed. A brilliant flash, brighter than 1,000 suns, turned night into day for hundreds of miles. The fireball grew rapidly, reaching temperatures of 10,000 degrees Fahrenheit, hotter than the surface of the sun. The sand beneath melted into green radioactive glass, later called trinitite. The mushroom cloud climbed 7.5 miles into the stratosphere. Windows shattered 120 miles away. Residents throughout New Mexico saw the flash and felt the ground shake beneath their feet. But what scientists didn't fully anticipate was the invisible killer: radioactive fallout. A deadly cloud of particles drifted northeast, carried by the wind over towns and ranches. Families sleeping in their homes that morning had no idea they were being exposed to dangerous levels of radiation. No evacuation orders were given. No warnings were issued. Children played in the fallout, not knowing the invisible dust contained radioactive isotopes. Ranchers watched a strange ash fall from the sky onto their livestock and water supplies. Communities downwind, places like Tularosa, Carrizozo, and small ranching settlements received radiation doses that would later be linked to cancers and other serious health conditions. The government kept the test secret for weeks, releasing only a vague statement about an ammunition depot explosion. The truth about radiation exposure would remain hidden for decades. In the years that followed, cancer rates in downwind communities rose alarmingly. Thyroid cancer, leukemia, and other radiation-related illnesses appeared with disturbing frequency. Survivors, who became known as Downwinders, began sharing their stories. Entire families were affected. Some lost multiple members to cancer. Their suffering went largely unacknowledged. It wasn't until the 1980s that activists and scientists began documenting the true scope of the health crisis. Researchers found elevated radiation levels in the soil and water decades later. In 1990, Congress passed the Radiation Exposure Compensation Act, acknowledging government responsibility for radiation victims. But controversially, New Mexico downwinders were excluded from compensation. For over 30 years, New Mexican communities fought for recognition. While uranium miners and Nevada Test Site downwinders received compensation, Trinity victims remained forgotten. For over 30 years, New Mexican communities fought for recognition. While uranium miners and Nevada Test Site downwinders received compensation, Trinity victims remained forgotten. Recent legislative efforts have sought to expand compensation to include Trinity downwinders, recognizing their sacrifice in America's race to develop atomic weapons. The fight for justice continues. The Trinity Test changed the world forever. But for the families who lived in its shadow, the cost was deeply personal. Paid in suffering, illness, and lives cut short. Their story reminds us that scientific progress must never come at the expense of human dignity.